this whole world of environmentalism and stuff like that, I'm not one of these. I will say it straight up, and I am going to be as loud as possible about it from now on. I just don't care anymore. I don't consider myself at all whatsoever in the climate alarmist camp. I believe we should be doing what we should can to do our best part for the environment. I see
Yeah.
fucking videos of what's happening in places like India and Pakistan and the fucking filth and garbage over there. Yeah, and we as a country are still sending our coal and shit over there and pretending whatever we do here is going to make a difference. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Like the intellectual misunderstanding of like we can't just do stuff in our own country and it's going to miraculously change the rest of the world. It's virtue signaling at its finest. But what I will say is that I still take individual responsibility. I am
Yeah.
I am someone who still will be like, no, do I need the same people who talk about we need to do take action are some of the biggest consumers of shit in the world, right? They'll buy
No.
new cars, get the latest smartphones, all this shit that you don't
Yes.
need. And I'm just like,
Yes.
hang on, I'm so good with my 2005 Toyota Corolla and 2000 Toyota Kluger, and I will drive those things until they fucking die.
Same.
My TV, all
Both
my
of us.
technology in my house is so old. I hardly buy any
Same.
clothes. I'm not trying to say this to be like, oh, look at me. It's just like, what I'm saying is we can make active choices that are real choices, actual action. Yet people don't want to take action. What they want to do is have things that are going to make it easier to still be the consumer and still do all the things that they want without the guilt.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly that's exactly right. And I feel when you're, because I'm the same, right? I'm going to drive this Kluger until it dies, which it won't because it's a Toyota, right? But because
I
I'm
love my
like,
Toyotas.
we are, we
I should
love
get a
our
Toyota
Toyotas.
I should get a Toyota t-shirt actually.
We need
I should.
20. When it, like, how long have we both just been flying the Toyota flag?
And
We love
now
our
I actually have a
Toyotas.
massive love for Japan. It makes even more sense as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Jason and I have had Toyotas for decades, and we stand by our cars because they
Best
don't
thing I've ever bought. My
break
Toyota Kluger is
ever.
legit the best thing I've ever bought by a mile.
Best thing ever, right? But I am like you. I am like, I'm not just going to buy a new car because I feel like
Mhm.
whatever. And if someone does, that's their business. I'm just talking about what I'm trying to
But
say
it doesn't
is
have
I feel
Bluetooth and
like,
rear side collision and safety and it's like people just buy these buzz shit and I'm like,
we
man,
just,
my
we don't care. But I feel like you and I, our attitude towards our belongings is got actually nothing to do with the environment. I think it's got to do with the appreciation of our belongings. That's not to say we
yeah.
don't care about the environment, but I just say there was no talk of the environment at all. I feel like we
Mm.
would still have that appreciation for the things that we own.
Yeah, I'm both. That's what I'm saying. I have the
Yeah, so
appreciation
am
for the things
I.
that I own, plus I care deeply for the environment, but not to a
Same.
point where I'm like, why are we doing this? None of this makes sense to me.
Like,
The climate action stuff is what I'm talking about.
you're talking about the extremists.
I think the extreme view is pretty common nowadays, and they don't think they're extreme as well. That's the scary part. And they'll think
And
I'm some climate denier as well, just for having this nuanced approach to thinking about how we should
yeah,
be.
you're not alone in that thinking.
But
You're
that's the part,
you're
like a lot
far
of people
from
don't
alone.
talk about it, which is also bizarre. Is like I'm pretty happy to talk about what I think we should be. Why, when it comes to this stuff, is like the logical part in me, because like I said, is like my brain doesn't work like most people. I'm starting to realize that a lot now. Like it's got this really rational weigh up the pros and cons, try and understand all the things, understand the gray areas. Nothing is just this or that. It's a lot of things. And the world works in trade-offs, and that's pretty much the way the world works. And no one thinks like that. I saw this great exercise today in language, and I was like, Man, that is so true. Just how it was a great example of just looking at society, and it was this picture of there's dots on this page. This Instagrammer, I really love the way he thinks. He's a Japanese guy, I think, actually. And there was like majority, like I think there was like 13 dots on there, and one of all the dots were red except for the blue one. And the guy was saying like the question, the statement is most of the dots on this page are red. Yet you'll get someone go, no, there's a blue one on there. And the sentence itself already has the allowance for the blue one on there. Yet they have to point it out. They're not saying it only has red ones. It says most of the dots on this page are red. Not all of them, but still someone will be like, no, there's a blue one on there.
Yeah.
Because their understanding of language and nuance is terrible. And I was like, oh, that's a great example of it. You know, how you, that's fascinating because, and it happens in all arguments now. If you like, you say something like, oh, but I know somebody who's, yeah, they're the outlier. Like they're the exception. Like people try and argue points based on, not on fact, but by the random outliers, the random things that happen. That's not the presupposition of what someone's trying to argue. You can't argue a point based on the outlier, basically, is the way I like to put it. And that was, and understanding nuance, the gray areas, is what a lot of people don't really do well. And I find it disturbing, actually.
I think, and I'm really happy to fact check this for our next podcast, and I'm really happy to be called out if this, what I'm about to say, is incorrect. But my understanding of that, there's all these red dots and there's that one blue dot, and the majority of people will say or will focus on the blue dot. And it is my understanding that is a neurological wiring.
We've spoken about this.
To predict threat, right? So if you apply that philosophy, I guess, or that, what would you call it, that principle to what you're saying, is like most people, they don't look for the nuances. They're just like that, and then that's it. Maybe it's because we're all wired to stand for threat. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that's right.
No, it's less to scan the threat, but to really identify differences. I think that's the thing. The great example is
Yeah, so we're
like
saying...
I think we spoke about last time, where it's like you're in a pretty secluded, random African country, like actual African with black people there. And if a random white person walks down the street, the black people will look at them. Not because it's, that is a bad one. It's just like something they're not used to seeing.
Yes.
So their eyes will focus on it and look at it. And it's not a thing out of racism, race, or anything.
No.
It's just something out of the norm that they're normally used to seeing. And I feel like this is actually getting to a great segue to what we were wanting to talk about.
It really is. It really is. It's perfect, actually. But I think it also needs to be said, just if what I'm thinking is correct, using those dots, the red dots and the blue dot as an example, when I'm saying the brain interprets it as threat, I do exactly what you're saying. Is I don't want our listeners to hear that I'm trying to say that a white person walking down the street in a black neighborhood is perceived a threat. No, I'm not saying that. It's the nervous system perceives something as different, and different alerts to threat. That's a wiring thing. We now have the consciousness and the intelligence in 2026 to go, yes, I notice whatever it is, whether it's a white person walking down the street, whether it's a blue dot, we have the consciousness and the intelligence to say it's different, but it's not scary. But the nervous system doesn't have that intelligence. The nervous system just goes.
I just want to clarify and agree and give you an example. But what I was talking about in that red and blue dot example was more about people's understanding of language rather than the identification.
And I did take it in a different direction. I did take it in a different direction, but I think maybe not particularly, or maybe it's been an image of white space and then a black dot. So the
And a great
majority is white
example,
space, right?
a simple analogy that demonstrates exactly what you're talking about is a young woman walking down the street at night by herself, and she sees a group of men walking down the other side of the street. What you're saying is in that perception and feeling thing is in modern day society, given what we're told, that woman would get a slight feeling of anxiety because she's
I
by
would.
herself and there's a
Yeah.
group of men. These
Yeah.
group of men might be the loveliest human
Oh,
beings in the
yeah.
world. Like, but the
100%.
natural perception and feeling that woman will get is probably that most likely, right? So
I would.
that's just a great example of
Yeah.
what you're explaining. And that had nothing to do with color, it was just a gender thing. And that's
Yeah.
fine. I think that's exactly an acceptable thing for someone to feel.